Recording is on. Okay. Sorry, everyone. I'm just trying to get a few more people in connected, and we'll might wait just a couple more minutes to get everyone in, and then I can get started. And I'm just going to check in with a couple of people who are commenting on Facebook.
So is the meeting on this link or the other link?
So the meeting's going to be here. If you're here in this meeting, we're staying here. I'm just getting a few messages that I'm responding to make sure people can connect with us
so
here.
You may want to delete the comment on Facebook then.
Yeah, I was just going to wait for to make sure because I responded to some people there, so I wanted them to see my response before I deleted it.
Yeah, but on the event, there's a comment to go to the other Zoom meeting, so.
All right, that has been changed to this meeting here. Okay, I think maybe I'll get started, and I may have to just jump away for a second to respond to people. But I think we're ready to get going. All right, hi everyone, I'm JMath. I'm the events coordinator for Camp Contact at Burning Man, and I'm really excited that we're all going to be meeting back together. Just getting a bunch of people into this meeting. Sorry about that. It's been a while since I have run Zoom meetings. Hi everyone, if you're just coming in, I'm JMath and I am the events coordinator for Camp Contact at Burning Man. And I'm really excited that we're all getting together in the desert again this summer. Something that is a really big, important part about Camp Contact is all of the events and workshops that we run. And I know we have a lot of new camp members this year, so our number of event submissions are down, and I was just hoping that I could give some of you an idea of how our workshops work and what goes on in our event spaces. And I'm hoping that some of you will feel inspired to submit an event for our camp. So I'm going to share my screen. I've put together a little slideshow with some information that I hope will help you understand what goes on, and then I'll be happy to try to answer questions. Let's go. Actually, sorry, I'm gonna, all right. So here is how to run an event at Burning Man. Actually, if anybody wants to link directly to this, I think I can try to put it into the chat. Might have to stop sharing for a second. I'm going to put into the chat a link to the slideshow that I'm showing, so you're welcome to go and look at that on your own screen if that works better for you. Here. So yeah, welcome to How to Run an Event at Burning Man. This is actually a little drone view of our camp. This one's a couple of years old though. When I'm looking at this, this is our old shade structure and some of our old spaces, but it still gives you a little bit of an idea, especially if you're a new burner and you haven't been there before. This is what you might see looking down from the sky at our camp. We are a pretty large village, a large camp. Daryl, maybe you can confirm how many people are we expecting to have this summer? Daryl is dividing his attention between two meetings, so he might miss he might miss the question. Daryl, I was going to say, how many people are we expecting to have this summer? Oh, I think you are muted, Daryl.
Thanks. So yeah, I'd love to have lots of camp questions and meetings, like questions like this after we get through this portion, because I know.
Sounds good. I'll keep going.
And we'll have around 180.
Okay, great. Okay, this is a little picture of what you see at our Anahasna Village Greeter Station, and I was hoping it could give you an idea of how many events we have going on. So we have one of these posters up for each day of the burn. There is ourselves, and I think that we're in the blue on this image here, and there are other camps in our village, and a big part of what we do is we run a lot of workshops for everybody from Burning Man to come to, and it's a really meaningful experience for so many people. At any given time in our greeter station, you might see like several hundred people reading over what events are coming, making plans to come there. We have literally thousands of people come in and do our workshops, and it's a pretty exciting thing. This is actually not Camp Contact's dome, but it is what our spaces look like. So many of the events that we run happen in these domes here. They are air conditioned to make it a pleasant space to be. They're shaded. We have music. We have like a sound system for music or voice amplification to make this like a pretty great space to run an event in. This is another one of our event spaces. We have this shaded dance floor area, and I guess this might be a couple of years old too, because we currently have a wooden dance floor underneath this shade structure, and we have a lot of ecstatic dance, and we have our contact improv classes here and some other movement and dance classes. Going on. Okay, this is, I didn't have a ton of time to prepare for this meeting. I was really hoping to get this information out as fast as possible. This is an email that I sent out a couple of years ago, but I was hoping that it could just kind of give you an information. So some of the information might not be precisely accurate, but oh, I don't know what happened there. Sorry, I have to reshare my screen. Some of this information is a little bit outdated, but it still will give you a basic idea of how events goes. So some logistics here. Camp Contact is in the Anahasna Village. We're usually around 6:30 and E. I don't know our exact location this year, but that's approximately right. We have a large greeter station, and there are greeters that are there all the time. And the link to this is in the slideshow if you decide to look at it yourself now or later. So we have a greeter station where people from the playa come in and they can look at some posters of the events that are running. Usually they can get a copy of the Anahasna Village Guide, which is a printed guide that we create to help people find out about our events. And then they can come and find their events and come to the different things. Let's see, we have an old event schedule here. We're going to come back to this. When you're on Playa, I'll be hosting a couple of orientation sessions to help you figure out how to use our spaces. I can tell you about the sound system, help you figure out where you'll be and all of that stuff. Sorry, I'm kind of going back here. Here is a copy of no, I'll come back to that in session. I'm sorry, didn't have a lot of time to prepare for this meeting. I also have a full-time job that I do. I wanted to talk a little bit about consent culture. It's something that's a really big, important thing for us at Camp Contact. And we have a website that gives some information about consent culture at Camp Contact. And we have a consent crew that would be happy to help you figure out how to incorporate, like foster a sense of a consent culture in your workshop. Most of our workshops run approximately for 1 or 2 hours, but there's really flexibility in that. You might choose to run a half-hour workshop, 1.5 hours. You could run, in the past, somebody once did a 4-hour workshop. I mean, that would be pretty intense to do, but it's been done. Usually we try to clear the space 5 minutes before the end of the scheduled time. And so the next workshop has 5 minutes to set up. Let's see, I'm gonna go back to this. Is everyone seeing something that says Anahasana Village and Echo? Is that what's showing up on your screen right now? Okay,
Yes.
awesome. Thanks for the feedback to let me know. You may be wondering, like, what can be an event at Camp Contact? And so you might be wondering yourself, I have an idea, but does this fit? Does this work as an event? Does this work as a workshop? So I wanted to show you our guide from, this was our last village guide from 2019, to give you a sense of some of the workshops that existed. I'm not sure if this will, are you seeing a thing that says Anahasana Village, Acro Oasis, Authentic Camp? Is that showing on your screen?
Yes.
Yes, perfect. So some of the camps in our village, we're the Anahasana Village, and in our village we have acro-focused theme sub-camp. There's Authentic Camp, which is focused on authentic relating. We have the cold yogis who do breath work and cold exposure. Then there's us, there's Camp Contact, there's Camp Decentral, there is Naked Heart and Sacred Song Tea House. So there are a lot of us that join together in this space to run a lot of workshops to offer to the Burning Man community. I wanted to give you an idea of what some of those are. So here's our past schedule. Camp Contact is in the dark blue, but that doesn't mean that those are the only workshops that you're welcome to do. You definitely look at what the other workshops were and see if something like that fits more for your experience or your skill set or something like that. So we have a morning meditation every morning. We actually have a yoga session every morning. We're probably doing a daily breathing, cold exposure and mindset session. Then we have contact improv every day. But then there are a lot of other events, as you can see here. Pretty much anything you can imagine. The light blue is Camp Decentral. The red is Naked Heart. The dark blue is us at Camp Contact. And again, you're welcome to go and look through this after the meeting to kind of look through and see what there is. We have embodied dance. There's this discomfort junkies. These are all the different things that happened in 2019. Anybody have any questions coming up at this moment, or? Okay. Feel free to just turn on your microphone and ask a question if you like. We had some Feldenkrais, we have a lot of workshops that are focused around authentic relating, self-awareness, healthy relationships, healthy sexuality, movement, breath work, lots of different types of things. So everything I've gone through so far was really just one day at Camp Contact, or one day at Anahasana Village. As you can see, we have a lot going on, and this is a really big part of our village, a really big part of what we offer. This is our gift to the camp, to the Burning Man community. So that's just kind of a quick view into what we do. Like I said, feel free to go and look more at this after the meeting if you're trying to kind of decide what fits in, but there is a lot going on. If you want to submit a workshop, we have our workshop submission form. I'll just go over what the information is on there. So if you're filling this out, you know what you're what I'm asking you. I need the name of the facilitator. I need an email address to get a hold of you. Where it asks about a sub camp, if you don't really know what that is, then just go with camp contact. Just go with camp contact if you don't know that you're a part of a sub camp. Camp contact is the one to do. I need you to tell me an event title and a short description. The short description has 140 characters. This is our printing description that would go into the Anahasana Village Guide, and it would go possibly into the official Burning Man What, Where, When guide, although they're not taking very many events anymore. So most of our events won't be printed in the Burning Man guide, but if they're submitted on time, they will be printed in the Anahasana Village Guide. After that, you can give a longer description if you like, and that will go online. Burning Man Playa events has all of the registered events listed online, and there are 2 unofficial apps that get their information from the Playa events website. So it's basically like there is an app with a guide to as many, like to thousands of events happening at Burning Man. And so that's where your long description might show up. We really want people to be aware of consent, and we're wondering if there's anything in your workshop that might possibly lead to consent violations or be tricky for any participants. So we just want you to reflect on that and let us know that you're committed to fostering a consent culture in your event. And if that's something that you care about, but you're not really sure how to do it, please feel free to get a hold of me, and I'd love to connect you with a member of our consent team who could give you some information about how you might incorporate consent culture into your event. You can tell me what space you'd like. You might say it doesn't matter. We have some domes with vinyl flooring and some domes with padded flooring. We have a large luminette shaded space that's good. We have our yoga classes and our acro classes there, and it's good for other movement things. We have our wooden dance floor. And one of the other camps in our village has a very large event space that's 60 feet by 60 feet. It's luminette shaded. We can't always use it, but you can request it and we can see if we can get in there. You can tell me if you need a sound system for music or a microphone and voice amplification, although in the last couple of years we've had that in all of our spaces, so it shouldn't really matter. Tell me which day you'd like to run it. If you can choose, tell me approximately what time of day, and I'm going to do my best to make the schedule work for everyone. Tell me how long your event is going to be. If it's going to be, if it's not a multiple of 30 minutes, then just round up. Like if it's 75 minutes, tell me 90, so I make sure I reserve the space for you enough. And then just any other notes that you want me to know. Maybe you might say, I absolutely can't run my event on Thursday evening because I have a ranger shift. Or you might say, I'm doing a workshop at another camp on such and such time, and I need you to make sure you don't put it in there. Or you might say, we have two people running the workshop, whatever it is. That could also fit in this other commitment section. We're also just wondering about tickets, and this is partly for me to get a sense of how sure you are that you're going to be able to come. I know that sometimes people really are committed and then they don't find a ticket and then they can't show up. So it just kind of helps me get a sense of how sure you are that you're going to be able to show up. And then of course, if you submit an event and later on you realize something's changed and you're not going to be able to make it, just let me know as soon as possible. All right, going back to my slideshow here. Let's see, this actually might be the end of my slideshow. So I guess, what questions do you have?
Hey, this is Dave.
Hi.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is it possible to download this form to work on it offline, like collaboratively, or does this need to be done in the browser?
Do you mean the event submission form?
Yeah, like sometimes you can download Google Forms.
I think it has
offline.
to be done in the web browser, as far as I know. But that might be limits to my technical knowledge. There might be something that I don't know about. But because it's a Google form, I think you need to put the information in there online and then submit it.
Sorry, we had trouble getting on this call. What web page will this be on?
Sorry, do you mean what web page will the event submission be on,
The
or?
form, The form?
Oh, the form, I'm
It-
happy to post, I'll post a link to two things. I'll post a link to the form in the group chat. Let me just, I'm actually used to using, I usually, oh no, what have I done? I usually use Zoom on my work computer, and it's working very differently on this computer.
She's gonna post the link.
Okay. So here's a link to the form that I've just posted into the group chat. And I'll also post again a link to the slideshow I've been showing, because there are a couple of links in there that might be helpful. And you're welcome to go look through the slideshow on your own. It has a link to this schedule from our last burn if you want to kind of look through past events to help you get some ideas. And it will have a link to the event submission form, and it will also have a link to this orientation email that I sent out last time, which won't have completely precise information, but much of the information will be exactly the same.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm curious.
Who's
I'm
that?
curious. Oh, this is Mike.
Hi, Mike.
I'm curious how many, like what the maximum amount of workshops you'd recommend running is to avoid Burning Man burnout. And I know that obviously varies person to person, but I've facilitated a lot, but I've never done so at the burn. So I'm not totally sure how to calibrate how taxing it'll be.
That's a great question. I mean, most people do 1 or 2 events. There are a few members of our community who like to run quite a few. There's one member of our community who does 6 or 7 events every time. For me personally, I would feel that would lead to what you're saying, to burnout. I would recommend, I would think for myself, maybe 2 or 3 events, because there's definitely a lot going on. I think there's also a difference. I myself like to teach acro yoga classes, and I try to do 2 of them on the same day. And what that does still give me lots of time for getting out and exploring the burn. But that's I think that's a question you could tell me on your event submission form in the facilitation notes. You might say, okay, I'm running 2 events and I'd really like them to be on the same day. Or you might say, I would actually prefer to have them spaced out so that I'm less committed on one day. That might depend on how physically tiring your event is for you or something like that. So those would be the things I would reflect. Would you want to have all of your events on the same day? Would you want to space them out? There are advantages both ways, I think. The advantage of spacing them out, you wouldn't feel as tired on one day. The advantage of having them on the same day is then you have your other days free to go out and explore what else is there.
Hi, this is Blue Jay. I saw the email a few days ago and I filled out the form, but I just looked at it again and I guess it was the form for 2019. So I guess I should fill out the new form.
I'm sorry that mix up went. I actually still should be able to access the form from 2019 and see what you've sent in. Maybe I'll make a note for myself. So if you've already filled it out and it's gone to the 2019 form, when you fill out the form, there's a timestamp. So I would see that I could see that it's a new event. And thanks for letting me know that happened, so I can check if there is any.
The only difference is it doesn't have the ticket status in the 2019 form.
That's right. And tickets were a little bit easier to come by in 2019. So we weren't maybe thinking as much about that question.
Yeah,
So
that's probably my fault. I still have the old link up, I believe, JMath.
Oh, okay.
On our website.
So it's on the Camp Contact website, Daryl?
Is that where you saw it, Jaybird?
It was from the email a few days ago.
Oh.
I'm really sorry about that. I will check into that. I'm really glad you told me. So if anybody submitted on the old form, I should be able to get their information there, and that's great to know.
Yeah, it's email from June 1st.
From June 1st. Okay, I'm not sure which one of us sent them out, but at any rate, thanks so much for letting me know.
Sure.
I'll check. You may not be the only one.
Okay.
But I should have all of that information anyway. The old form data is still active. So with the timestamp on it, I'll know that it was a new submission as opposed to an older one.
So if we do an event or two, does that take care of our volunteer time, or is that in addition to the volunteer time?
Running an event is something that's different from volunteer time. So the volunteer time is being a part of the Camp Contact. That's what you're contributing to our shared community there at Camp Contact. And running an event, that's something that you would choose to do as a gift to the Burning Man world. So that's one of the many gifts that people in our community choose to give. And it's different from the volunteer time that you do at camp, because yeah, your volunteer camp is being part of the Camp Contact community.
Yeah,
and
I have a little.
and
go
the
ahead,
events that you run are a gift that you're choosing to give if you
Okay.
want to.
Yeah, thanks for the clarification on that.
Yeah, I have a little philosophy on that too, actually. Yeah, I would say it's actually a privilege to be able to run an event at Burning Man, more so than say anyplace else. And you should think of it that way. Like, your event should be playful. It should be a place for research. It should be a place for experimentation. People are going to be so happy to receive your event at Burning Man. And you're going to have, I've had the best audience ever at Burns when I offer something. People are eager to learn and playful and just ready to just take in whatever you have to offer. So yeah, it's a very different form of energy flow, say helping make a meal happen or helping be a greeter or something else like this, as opposed to leading an event. So we come together to make a place for great events to be able to happen. And I hope you'll create any events or think of offering your events in that vein. Like, don't feel like you have to offer any events, but know that there's this opportunity to have that event happen.
And really everybody I talk to that has run an event or frequently runs events, because there's some members of our community that come back and repeatedly run events. Everybody says it's one of the most rewarding experiences of their burn. I don't know anybody who doesn't say that. To be honest, I've never spoken to someone who hasn't said running an event was one of the most rewarding and meaningful experiences that I had at my entire time at Burning Man.
Okay, thank you.
I know for myself, like I can say I absolutely love teaching. I teach every year. I love acro yoga is my thing that I love teaching, and I would be really sad if I couldn't for some reason. It would, it's one of my favorite parts of Burning Man. I'm so sorry. If somebody just asked a question, I didn't hear you clearly. I'm not sure. Maybe not.
Hey, this is Dave again. So I am planning on developing a workshop with somebody and co-facilitating.
Me too.
Is there, do you want us to just like pick one name to put in for this form?
Good question. I think on filling out the form, you could put 2 names in if you like, whatever you think works best. I can only take 1 email, so just pick one of you who will be the best person to communicate through. But where it asks for your name on the form, you could just put your name and the other one.
Yeah, sounds.
And if you really want me to be able to contact both of you, you could go to the end of the form. There's the part that says facilitation notes, and there you could say, please also email this email address for communication about this event, and I'd be happy to get that in there. It sounds like maybe we don't have any more questions. I'll also throw into the chat my my email address, and you can get me at events@campcontact.org. So you can definitely email me there. I will post this slideshow that I've just shared with all of you onto the Facebook group so that anybody can look at it if they would like. In terms of timelines for submitting events, our Anahasana Village printed guide, it is quite an undertaking to create it. And another community member in Naked Heart puts a large number of hours into verifying schedules between our entire village and making sure that everything is properly put into the guide. And for him to have enough time to do all of that, he has to have those events in pretty soon. So my timeline to get the events on time to give that schedule to him is that I need to have the events by this weekend if you want them to be in the printed guide. Now, if you don't make it in on time for the printed guide, it doesn't mean that there will be no promotion of your event. It will still be submitted to the Burning Man Playa events website, which, as I said, a lot of people download information through the unofficial Burning Man app. It will be put, and also information can be accessed on the Playa Events website. The deadline for that greeter station, the one that I showed you at the start of our slideshow, the deadline there is for this greeter station, it's a little bit later. So there is a little bit more time to have your event printed up here. But if you'd like your event to be printed into our Anahasana Village guide, that's the version of this for this year, I need to have your event submitted by this weekend. So just kind of to give you a sense of the timeline. I can definitely accept events later than that, but they just won't be in this printed guide. And what we do is we print up thousands of copies of this, and we hand them out at the village greeter station so that people can get all of our guides. Burning Man used to have a printed guide of events that happened, and they changed their parameters a lot, and we can only submit one event to the official Burning Man guide, and that's why we started making our own village guide. And so it's a really valuable promotion tool. But I need events by this weekend for that to happen.
Wow, only one event for
I know, and for a lot of
content?
camps that might not feel quite as limited, but for a camp like ours that, in 2019, if we have daily meditation and then yoga and then beginner acro yoga, and then we have an intermediate acro yoga, and we have 2 ecstatic dance sessions every day, and we have pre-contact improv classes every day. If I included all of that, plus another approximately 90 events, we had something in the range of 180 events or so. And so only being able to print one in the guide was a big shift for us. And that's why we decided to create our own guide so that we could share I think in the whole guide for all of Anahasana Village, it was close to 400 events that were in there.
That's amazing.
It is pretty amazing. It's something pretty amazing to see, and I'm really excited about this. This is our big gift to Burning Man, and it's a pretty amazing thing. So I really hope that some of you will want to be a part of that. So I'm operating on the unpaid version of Zoom, and it's telling me that I have about 2.5 minutes left before it will disconnect me. So we're probably all going to be disconnected in about 2.5 minutes. And I just wanted to say thank you everyone for coming. I really appreciate that you cared enough to want to be here, to want to be a part of our community in this way. And I really hope that you'll want to submit an event. You're definitely welcome to reach out to me at events@campcontact.org. Also, you can message me on Facebook. I'd be happy to try to help you. Something to consider if you're thinking, I want to do this, and you're feeling a little overwhelmed by the due date of having it this weekend, you can submit an event with a somewhat vague description and then plan it in more detail later. So you can submit your event, get it put in, and then add more detail to your own personal plan later. Realistically, nobody at Burning Man minds if you've changed it a little bit from your description. A great question about the consent team. I think that either Razor or Avatar is that. Do you know, Daryl, is the consent team?
They're
Razor or-
definitely a part of it. I think also Pooja is doing a lot with it.
Okay.
And I don't know that we haven't had a meeting yet for that. But join the consent group on Slack is the first thing to do, and further announcements will happen there. And if all else fails, let me know. But we'll definitely be gearing that up as well.
So I think we're going to get disconnected really soon, but Daryl has posted a link to the official Camp Contact Zoom with the password being contact. I think I told some people it's Camp Contact, sorry for my mistake. So if you have more questions, I will head over there if you wanted to ask me anything. And I believe Daryl will be there, and you could ask questions about events or about camp in general. And I suspect we'll be disconnected very soon.
Password is contact with a capital C. Everything else is lowercase.
Thank you so much,
Cool.
everyone, for coming.
Thanks, J-Math. That was great.
Good summer.
So glad to have this
Yeah,
happen.
man, thank you for everything. This is amazing.
All right.
Thank you. Bye.
All right.
I'll see you guys over there on the other
See
one.
you over there. Yeah.
Wonderful. All right. Maybe I'll just